text my tweet, bro.
Now let me ask you this, then. I'll start this here and then go back around, and then I know you guys want to talk about the male perspective. Do you think a woman having detached sex is a learned behavior or a natural behavior?
I feel like it's a learned behavior just
Okay.
because of the simple fact that females, we have sex because we have, like, you have to have that,
Attachment?
not even that attachment. You have to have that comfort in someone. Like,
Okay.
you're not going to open your legs to someone when you feel uncomfortable with.
Yeah.
That's why we have the ability to say yes or no.
Uh-huh.
That's why that word is given to us. You all don't have that ability. You all
Uh-huh.
have to ask for that.
Okay.
So we
All
have
right.
to say yes or no. So it's
So
Okay,
very
so-
good point.
So to you, it's a learned behavior. What about you?
Yeah.
Do you think it's a learned behavior being able to have detached sex, or it's a natural thing that women can just do?
I think back to what someone said earlier, like you could be into sex and then something could happen to you to make you detach from sex.
What
like
could that be?
Rape.
Okay.
Like if you
Okay.
get sexually assaulted, you can literally not want to ever do that again in your life because you're so traumatized from the experience.
But wouldn't the argument be that would be a learned behavior from a traumatic experience?
That
Yeah.
I
I
mean,
feel
I
like
guess,
it's
yeah,
more
learned.
so.
That's learned,
That's
but
more
that's
so
also-
That's the
forced.
question I'm asking. I'm not asking how it's done. I'm asking, is detached sex for women a learned behavior or a natural behavior?
I think it could be either or. I think people could just not want to be in that state. Either like people like.
All right, how
me,
about
for
this?
example,
The majority of women, if I line up 100 women
Yeah.
and they're hoes
learned or natural.
or they're promiscuous, do you think their
I think
ability
it's
to
a
have
learned-
detached sex?
It could be learned because you're also surrounding yourself by that. So that's what you're learning from. So you're gonna go based off what you're surrounding yourself by.
All right, what about you? Do you think it's a learned behavior or a natural behavior by women?
I think it's neither. I think it's a choice. It's not necessarily like it just comes naturally to be able to have sex and not be attached, but as well as just because you've been through a traumatic experience and now it affects you a certain way doesn't mean as well that it's a learned thing. That is a physical thing in your brain. That's a PTSD trauma experience.
That's natural.
That isn't. It's not a natural occurrence that caused it, though. You know, it's a natural way for our brains to react. But the way that it happened, the reason why we got there was very much not natural.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
that's
but
not
it's-
what
but
we
hold on,
didn't
hold on,
learn.
hold on, hold on, hold on. But we also
It's an
didn't learn to
adaptation,
react.
but it's an adaptation to an experience, which means by definition it's learned.
Yeah.
But it's not because I didn't say, oh, okay, so because this happened to me, I'm going to start reacting this way to sex, or I'm going to switch my position on how I feel about sex. It's more so like, because this has happened to me, I'm now realizing that my feelings and my attachment towards it has changed due to chemical things inside of my brain causing me to react this way to it now. And you can learn from those what your triggers are and stuff
That's a
like
learned
that.
behavior
But-
from
but
experience.
Yeah.
But
So-
it's
Yeah.
You confirming what he just said.
Yeah, your argument is basically that it's a learned behavior. You might not like the way I'm phrasing it, but
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
you're literally saying
speak
it's a
on
learned
that?
behavior by your own explanation.
Can I say something?
Yeah.
Because I feel like that's probably the problem. I feel like it's probably how they're asking it is what's making us triggered so much to feel like they're attacking us. But at the end of the day, a word is a word. A word has a definition, and a learned behavior is not something that you automatically have. When you're born as a baby, you don't have this trigger to where, like, I know what's going to happen if somebody rapes me, I'm going to immediately act like this. So once, shut up. but once that happens, that's a learned behavior. So I think it's probably just how he's saying it, but at the end of the day, it's a learned behavior.
I mean, if you want to say it's not a learned behavior, that's fine. I'll put it's not a
I
learned
don't think
behavior.
it's, I think it's a choice, but I think the learn saying, okay, go ahead.
No,
I mean,
But how could it be a choice then?
Because you're taking all of the knowledge of everything that you've been through and you're deciding on whether or not you want
knowledge.
something.
That means you learned something, right?
Okay, but a PTSD traumatic something that you cannot handle on how you react to is not a learned experience. That is something that was brought onto you. That is how your body reacts without you having to think about certain things. Learning
Hold on, you just said it was a choice, right? Choice means you're
to
making
have
the choice.
emotionless
You're lucid.
sex.
You're able
yes,
to make the decision,
absolutely.
which means it's a choice.
To have emotional sex, yes.
No.
Emotionless sex, sorry.
Hell, you talking about?
yo,
You've contradicted yourself a few times from your point.
you're a teacher, right?
Preschool teacher, yeah.
Oh God.
Yeah. You're saying it's not a learnard behavior, but then you're
No,
going
but
back
I'm
and saying
saying
it's a choice.
she's
But if
going
it's a
based upon
choice,
emotions,
that means that
though.
choice
But-
was predicated based on some type of on some kind of experience, which means it's literally learned. Because you're making the choice from some base of knowledge, and if you have knowledge, that means you learned something.
Why I'm saying it's a choice.
No, but
But I'm saying a PTSD
PTSD reaction, I feel
Yes,
like
it's
natural,
not-
though, so I feel like it could be
that's
either
not
or.
learned, is what I'm saying. It is a reaction from your body that's natural.
It's
but
a
not
learned
learned.
response to something that occurred to you, and it's an
I
adaptation.
feel like
Right.
I feel
Or
like something that's
or
learned is
W.
something that I have
You're
knowledge
not-
of, like
you're not
getting
born
taught my
with,
1,
like-
2, 3s.
Is it learning
That's
natural? Learning from your environment is pretty natural. So I feel like it's like both. You know?
I say both. Like I don't know.
All right.
Wait, she teaches preschool
But
kids?
yes, Chris.
All right. What about you?
Yes,
Do you
she
think
does, bro.
a woman having
learning how to
detached sex is a learned behavior or natural in general?
I think sex is biological, and I think if a woman is having detached sex,
She's
probably
a hoe.
out of necessity.
She's a hoe.
No.
Out of
100%.
necessity? Okay.
Yeah, maybe she needs to do it for a living.
Okay.
Maybe she doesn't have any way to
That
make
motherfucker a
any
hoe.
other, maybe she doesn't have a way to make money, or it's a last resort.
Okay. So
Not
is
for
it
everybody.
a learned
yeah, definitely
behavior?
not for
Some people
everybody.
like it.
Is that since it's out of necessity? Is it a learned behavior from the necessity to do it to help kind of cope with it, or is it natural that women can just have sex and be detached?
Well, maybe it's natural because men are naturally stronger than women, and maybe women naturally have a sexual position that's kind of the yin and the yang, the way to make things equal. If men are physically stronger, then maybe women have that a sexual
Submissive.
yes.
So you
maybe-
think women are naturally detached from sex?
No, I don't think so. no.
Okay, so it's a learned behavior then.
Okay. I guess so. Is it a learn? I don't know. I
Logic?
guess.
I left the building, bro.
Yeah,
I promise you,
Is
bro.
it a
Yeah.
learned behavior?
That's what
Is
I'm
it-
asking you. Do you think a woman being able to have detached sex is a learned behavior or it's natural?
I guess it's learned behavior. Yeah.
Okay. What about you? Learned behavior or natural?
Learned.
Okay. What about you?
I feel like it's so situational. Like some girls, like the life they went through made them into hoes. Some girls have been like just always slutty. Like some people became sluts later on. Like it's so like
Hold on.
So wouldn't
there's
that
like
be
the innate whore,
just
and then
with
there's the
her?
learned whore.
Just like with her, if they went through experiences and they're able to adapt to it, wouldn't that make it mean that it's a
but
learned
what if you
behavior?
were a slut before nothing happened to you, but then shit happened to you, but you're always a
Do you
slut?
think a majority of women are naturally sluts?
No.
So then, wouldn't it be fair to say that most of the time it's a learned behavior?
Yes.
Because on paper, how can it be a slut without experience?
Exactly.
So it's kind of like.
Well, I
that makes
mean,
no
when I
sense.
said experience, I mean like a negative sexual experience. Like some girls become sluts after like some unconsensual or assault or whatever. Some girls have been sluts, and then certain things will make them more.
And that's still
one way or
learned,
the other.
learned behavior.
Yeah, but I was just saying there are innate sluts. That was gonna.
We just don't like the word. That's the problem. It's the word that you're using,
I don't
which is
mind.
making people like, no, we're not sluts and hoes.
You can claim the word though. I'm a slut.
I was gonna say I'm a slut. I'm a hoe 110% all the way.
Well, trust me, we know.
And you teach kids?
All right.
I can
What
picture
about
that
you?
shit
Do you
quite
think
well.
it's a learned behavior
You
or
better.
natural within women?
I think it's learned, but I also think you have a choice. Even though you've learned something, you can still choose to not or to do it.
Okay.
Okay, so learned. What about you?
I would say it's learned.
Learned. What about you?
Did you learn to be a stripper?
Yeah.
Okay.
What about you?
I definitely think it's learned, but I mean, you could argue like nurture versus nature and say that there are some people that are just more like hypersexual than others, but at the same time, like there's a lot of circumstances and like situations and conditions that tend to bring that out in some people more than others. But I
Fredo, what's your thoughts on this?
definitely think it's learned.
I
On
think
this whole
that,
detached sex and learned behavior,
They
etc.
hoes.
Yeah, I think that women who have detached sex are hoes. To be honest, I don't feel like it's something that is like it's natural. I don't think you come out your mom's womb a fucking hoe. I think like if you're a hoe, you probably seen some hoe shit. You turn into a fucking hoe, and now you're a hoe.
Even if you do it one time,
What do you mean one time?
like
what do you
say
mean?
one time, like say you did have something happen to you, but you don't decide to have
I feel
sex
like
continually.
see that's what I wanted to say something on that. If
And
something
then-
happened to a girl, I think 9 times out of 10, if it's like a traumatic our experience, they're gonna want to be with a man that they're comfortable with. It's not gonna be
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? They're not gonna just keep fucking around just
So that
because
wouldn't
they
be
just got
detachment.
armed.
No, they will though.
No, they
a lot of the
will.
time they will. Other
See,
girls
some
been friends
people-
with
But
them.
that has to do with
That shit
psychology
on
and the
time.
way
That
that
was
Usually
certain
after-
things
Ladies,
affect
ladies,
people.
one mic
Like,
at a
you
time.
can become
Ladies,
hyper or
One mic at a
hyposexually
time.
active
Thank you.
after.
One mic at a time. Somebody was saying something. Go ahead.
That
I
is
feel
really
like
common.
it's literally like a psychology thing. It's hypersexuality and sexual repulsion, and girls can go down one road, the other road, go back and forth. Me myself, I've been there. I've been,
We had that
sexually
conversation
assaulted,
earlier.
go really repulsed, and then be a fucking whore. Like it's like sexuality is so fluid, and that's not just like when I say that, that doesn't just mean like sexual orientation. That just means a relationship to sex.
Absolutely.
You have something? Then I can
I'm
go
just,
after.
I'm just gonna be honest with it, man. I mean, honestly speaking, if you got R-worded, that sucks. It's not cool at all. But it's still a choice. And if you decide to be a hoe, that's still on you.
Yeah, but I don't think it's negative. Like for me, I feel like my whole experiences have made me feel more comfortable in myself because a lot of my early experiences weren't consensual. So being able to do a bunch of shit that was my choice, me personally, it made me feel good. That's not every girl. Some people go have that whole
Okay.
phase and hate that they did that.
What made
But
you feel
that's-
good? What made you
Yeah.
feel good about
Taking control
Peter's
over the
whole thing?
Getting vocal
situations.
because I used to never get my nut. Now I got vocal. I'll tell a man, this is sucks. You're not fucking me good. Eat pussy. Like, and then you have a better
shit,
experience. Like,
Suck
I'm
my
glad.
pussy.
That's different for everybody.
You learn your body as well.
You learn your body. You learn how to get yourself
pleasure
off.
yourself.
I
Exactly.
have a question.
Most girls don't nut in straight relationships.
Pussy.
Not
All right.
Okay.
No,
So-
yeah, like we fake it too much. Too much. Men need to not think that they're as good as they are in bed.
That part.
All right. I guess I'll just address because you guys kept bringing up men and everything, and I'll just kind of tie everything together. But did you want to say something before I say this?
Yeah, I
Go
wanted
ahead.
to know why exactly did you start having sex after that? Like what that second time after you had that experience, why did you decide to have sex and just that detachment sex?
I feel like,
Merch.
so it was weird. Like, I kind of have to get into it to make sense. Like, the first.
No, well, I want to first
mean-
say I'm so sorry that happened to you. I really want to say like I really feel that happened to you, but I do want to know.
It happens so much. Majority of us, I feel like. And it's just
I
how
was
we
gonna
cope.
say it happens to so many
Yeah.
people in the sex industry.
Like,
Yeah.
I feel like because I was like, it was kind of a grooming situation when I was a lot younger. I got to the age and I was like, wait, you're a fucking weirdo. And then I feel like I just started fucking everybody. But that was me. I don't know. It wasn't thought. That was like mindless.
So you wanted to have sex. You wanted to.
She belongs to the streets.
Okay.
Personally,
Okay.
with my own experience after after those things had happened to me, I actually became like I didn't have sex for like 2 years. Like I didn't let anyone touch me at all, and then I went from that to being a porn star. So it again has to do
That was a 180.
with like it has to do with just how you choose to move forward with the situation. Like I can either let it take me down completely and now I'm never gonna trust anybody to have sex again unless I build and have all of that effort put into having a good relationship and stuff like that, or I can just surround myself with better people that I know I can trust that won't take advantage of me in that way. And then I'm building a connection with them as a friend. I am that comfortability is there, and I can have that sex with still feeling comfortable,
Okay.
still getting my nut off.
Okay, this is
We-
therapy. Who's next?
Can I?
They getting this shit up.
I was gonna
Yeah.
ask something, then I
Okay.
forgot it.
You had a point, Myron?
Did you have something that you wanted to say? You
I
said
kind
you
of
forgot.
spaced it. I need 3 seconds.
Yeah, okay. All right,
This is sad, man.
yeah. I guess I'll give my take on this because a lot of you guys were trying to compare it to men, so I'll just make it simple, right?
Ooh. Oh,
Go
sorry.
ahead. Go
My
ahead. It's fine.
bad. I was gonna say, I feel like also the whole phase of women, it's like a full circle because, like, I think a lot of guys, like, gonna say like type of people in the chat, like, that we can't go and fuck like that because we don't get the same satisfaction, which is honestly true. So I feel like most women who had an actual hoe phase circle back around to not having a bunch of like random sex because
Ain't
it's
no
not
circle
fulfilling.
back. Once you go a hoe, you forever a hoe. You can't.
Yeah,
you
I'm
can't
not.
spin
I
a block on
don't.
that.
I don't deny that phase. I would never lie to a man and be like, "My body counts 6." Like,
Do you know what
get
your
what
body
you
count
get.
is?
No,
You don't know? Okay. Isn't it
Full
triple
circle.
digits?
I don't think so.
I think so.
They're creeping up.
All right. So I think the best way to answer this is because you guys had mentioned men a few times, trying to compare men to women. I think that if you got to look at it from a biological standpoint, right? So like, what does sex do? Create children, right?
Yes.
Could we all agree that
That's
it
the
creates children?
purpose.
Okay. How many children can a woman bring to term per year?
Without doing damage to your body, because your
One.
body needs time to heal
Or
and
maybe a
everything
twin
like
or
that before
triplets, but
you're
in general,
supposed to-
one, right?
Right.
Yeah, there's
Now, how
one
many
birth.
children can a man bring to term per year?
A lot.
Too many.
Too many.
Oh yeah, he could bust multiple nuts a day with multiple women, right?
365.
But we're
Nothing can-
overpopulated, so wouldn't that mean the
Please,
other way around?
please, stay focused on the example I'm trying to give here, because I'm saying all this to kind of paint a picture. So, if sex creates children, and we know that women typically can only bring one child to term, maybe two, or maybe even a triplet if she's lucky, right? But a man can bust a bunch of nuts and impregnate a bunch of women. What does that mean? Well, that directly ties with our level of being able to have detached sex. The reason why men aren't necessarily hoes for having sex with a bunch of women is because we are the homemakers. We're the ones that impregnate you guys. You guys are the ones that carry the seed for a year. So women have to be more selective on who they fuck, right? Because you can only bring one child to term per year. So with that said, hold on. So with that said, women naturally are more selective on who they have sex with in general than men are. You could take the most promiscuous woman, right? You said before, you're really selective on who you have sex with, right? Because you got to make sure money's right, blah, 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 all this other stuff, right? Even you as a porn star, as a promiscuous woman, you are going to be more, you're going to be more selective than even the most prudest of men. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. So a guy that's not a horn dog is still going to have sex with more women or majority women, whereas you won't, even
With
though
no
you're a very
standards.
promiscuous woman.
Right.
So what I'm trying to establish here is that for a woman to have detached sex, it's a learned behavior because women are naturally selective on who they have sex with.
But I feel
that's
like
a biological reality.
But that's also assuming that everyone's fucking to have a kid.
No, I feel like you should just say
Okay,
that. Just
hold
to
on.
say it.
But okay, that's the same argument as you're eating candy to sustain yourself. The reality is you're eating candy because you enjoy it, right? But do you really need it to sustain yourself? No, people eat food for happiness, right? They eat
Right.
it for pleasure. Same thing now. People have sex, right, for pleasure now, but the base root is for children. And that's why we still engage in certain practices and we look for the opposite gender. Even though you're not going to have a kid with a guy, you still want a guy that's tall, you still want a guy that's money, still want a guy that's charming. You still look for these protector and provider instincts in the man, right?
Yeah.
Even though you're not going to have children with him. You got to remember that we're still instinctualized to believe that we can have kids from having sex. So when we meet our partner, we want them to be able to bear our child in a healthy manner. That's why men look for younger women, women look for taller men, stronger men, guys that have money, all these shit. So what I'm trying to say is that biology, a lot of the times, doesn't adhere to modern conventions. We have birth control and shit, but women are still selective. So what I'm trying to say is that women are naturally more selective. So it's a learned behavior for a woman to be a whore. It is. Because you have to be able to get rid of attachment from men that's required for you to have sex with them in the first place. And the only women that I've seen that are able to effectively do that are women that are professionally promiscuous. Porn stars, strippers, OnlyFans girls, etc. No offense.
That's why she's the most overly confident one about it. Like out of any girl here at the table, like she stands on that whole shit. You know what I'm saying? It's only her. Like she's standing on that shit.
Yeah,
Maybe
and-
her too.
Yeah.
She probably her too. But like,
But
you
it
know,
is a
she's standing on
minority
that
of
shit.
women that can actually have detached sex. Most women want some kind of investment from a sexual partner. They want them to take her on a date. They want to feel special. They
But
want
that
to be
dude
wined and
also,
dined.
that's a double standard though too, because men expect that I have this bitch that I'm fucking, so because I'm fucking her, I can still go out and fuck whoever I want. But you have to stay true to me and loyal to me when, like.
That's a very fair double standard.
Oh, how?
It's very
I'm sorry.
fair. Yeah, because
So
women
he's
live
agreeing
li-
with you.
The-
You're
no, no, no,
correct.
no,
Oh,
no,
I
no,
thought you
no,
were
no, no,
saying, like, it's
no.
fair to have. I was
No,
like,
no,
hold
no,
on.
it is fair to have. Hold on, whoa. No. I'm saying it is fair for men to demand that because women live life on easy mode.
How is it easy
No,
mode?
I
You
wouldn't say
just wait. Hold on. You
that.
just admit. Did you or did you not
Pretty
say
women.
that
I
thought
women,
you
if
were-
we get nutted in, we have to worry about a kid? Y'all can worry. Y'all don't have to worry about that.
Yeah.
Y'all can get your nut off, not having to worry about jack shit.
Yeah.
So how is that a fair standard? How
It-
is that
it is
fair
fair.
that we have more free roam than you do?
Okay, well, you guys all agree that women are more selective than men, correct?
Yes.
Yes? Does everyone here agree that women are more selective than men?
I
Yeah.
think men
So-
will fuck
For the majority.
anything.
Okay.
For the
But
majority.
is that
So-
natural or conditioning?
That's
That's
natural.
Natural.
So if women are more selective on men, would it be fair to say that most men struggle to get sex?
No.
Probably.
If
I
you're
disagree.
confident
And
and
that's
way
what I've
harder
been telling
to be
people too.
women.
Is genuinely, if you want it, you go out there, there will be somebody willing to give it up.
Hold on. Do the rest of